I am so excited to teach you all about lines. Let's talk about different types of lines. It's one of the major elements of art. That's called a vertical line. Now when the line sits this direction, it's called a horizontal line. And when a line is tilted, kind of like a slide, that's called a diagonal line. So let's have a little quiz using the word lines, because you might notice that some of these lines put together make a letter. So this first type of line, what kind of line is this that we went over? The one that goes straight up and down. That's right, it's a vertical line. And then what about this line that goes that direction? It's a horizontal line. Good. Now the letter N, we've got two vertical lines. And then what's this line in the middle called again? Do you guys remember? It's the one that looks like a slide. This is a diagonal line. We just went over three lines that are particularly straight lines. So the vertical, horizontal, and diagonal lines. But this one, this letter S is a bit different. This one is it's a curved line. It's made up of curved lines. And today we're not going to really focus much on curved lines. We're going to focus more on the straight lines. The vertical, the horizontal, and the diagonal lines. It's kind of nifty how if you put them together, they can create letters. Isn't that neat? But you know what else you can do? You can put them together and make shapes. You guys probably have seen shapes like this before. What is this shape called? Yes, this is a square. It is made up of 4 equal sides. And let's talk about the lines that we use to make a square. We've got 2 lines here that are vertical lines, and we've got 2 lines here that when we connect it up, these 2 are called horizontal lines. And we connect the horizontal and the vertical lines, they make a square. Now, when it's you've got 2 sides that are longer and 2 sides that are shorter, that's called a rectangle. So we are connecting horizontal and vertical lines here to make a rectangle. Now what is this shape called? That's right, it's a triangle. And this shape is formed with diagonal lines and, in this case, a horizontal line. Okay, we talked about lines and we talked about how joining lines together we can make shapes, and I showed you about how you can even put them together to make letters. Another element of art is color. And the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And the reason why they're called the primary colors is because you can make all the other colors with them, but you can't mix other colors to make the primary colors. That's why these 3 are so important, and they're called the primary colors. So everyone get out your trusty rusty art toolkit that you've got, and what I want you to pull out first is, I want you to pull out this kind of brownish looking piece of paper, and I want you to lay that on your workspace so that way you can protect it. Next, I want you to reach into your big bag and I want you to find the project. It's all packaged together like this. All right, now that we've got our primary colors and we've moved our white piece of the paper aside, and you need your scissors. So get that from your teacher. These are not inside your supply kit, so make sure you grab some. I'm under the impression everybody's got a pair of scissors already. All right, so we're gonna start with our red primary color. And I want we're only making straight lines today. So remember we learned about the different types of lines, the vertical and horizontal and diagonal. Those are the only kind of cuts I want you guys to be making. And don't do the cuts yet, watch what I do first. We're not gonna be making any curved lines like the S, okay? So what I want you to do first is I just want you to take your scissors and I want you to make a straight line all the way across. All right, so we're gonna set that pretty shape aside. Now I wanna try making a triangle. So a triangle needs some diagonal lines. So let's cut a diagonal line into this red. See how I made a triangle? I can make lots of shapes using straight lines that I cut with my scissors. I'm gonna make another square here. So that is what you guys will be doing as well but I wanted you to watch me first. Start cutting these straight line shapes like squares and rectangles and triangles. No curves. Now we need to work on the second primary color of yellow. And we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did there. Okay, now it's time to do your last primary color, which is blue. And by the way, you don't have to do the exact same cuts that I do. So now we've got our blue shapes, our red shapes, and our yellow shapes. We're gonna reach into our trusty rusty art toolkit, and you're gonna grab the bag that is inside of your art toolkit. I want you to find your glue stick. You're gonna grab one glue stick for yourself and stick it back inside that same bag, and then you're gonna put it back into your really big art kit bag so you don't lose it and it doesn't get confused with other kids' stuff. Okay, so you've got your glue stick, and I want you to grab one of your yellow shapes, and you're going to outline the outside edge of your yellow shapes, and then you might crisscross in the center on my white piece of paper. Then I'm gonna put my glue out there, and I'm going to put on my glue on the back side. Put your cap back on, and then decide where am I gonna put my blue. And I kind of want my glue right there. And go ahead and put some glue on your red shape. Then I'm going to put my red shape on there. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to yellow. I'm not gonna put my yellow right on top of my other yellow. I'm gonna put it in another area on the paper. I'm gonna distribute it some. So you do that too. And put your yellow somewhere so that there's yellow over here and yellow over here. Put the glue on your next piece. Now, one thing I want to say to you as you're doing this, we are not trying to create anything in particular. This is abstract art, and what we are aiming for is something that looks kind of like this. We're just putting colorful shapes on a piece of paper. Okay, so I'm not wanting you to create like a house or a boat or something in particular like that. We're just throwing the shapes out there that we make. Now, what color is next? Blue. And remember to distribute it through your painting. I'm gonna put my blue right there. Okay. Like to look at odd numbered things. That would be like the number 1, 3, or 5, as opposed to even numbered things such as 2 or 4. So what I'm going to do before I completely finish this picture is I'm going to count and see, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellows. How many reds do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe I want to add an additional red to make it a 5th red. So I'm gonna grab my red shapes. Remember, you don't have to use all of them. I'm gonna grab another red and add that to the piece. Okay, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of blue. Although you might notice that I've kind of cut this blue in half. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 almost, because it's been cut in half. So I think I will add at least one more blue color to it so that it can be an odd number of blue pieces. So I'm gonna grab one of my blues, and I actually kind of want it smaller than this. So I think I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to make a little bit smaller of a shape. We'll go where I want it, which is going to be right here. Okay, and so this is what we're doing for the piece. Notice I didn't make anything in particular. I just am distributing the colors and I am distributing the shapes. Make sure when you're done gluing your shapes on that you put the cap tightly back on the lid and that it clicks on your glue stick and that you put it back inside your art toolkit. If you want, you can stick it back in the nifty little package that it came in. Silly me, I forgot to do the very first step of any art project first, but we are okay because we haven't used any paint or anything yet. And so we have to do the very first step of any art project, which is to put your name on the back. So grab your pencils, and on the back, I want you to write your name in big letters. So that way we know it's yours or mine. Okay, now what we're gonna do is go back to your art toolkit, reach in there. There should be a paper plate. So grab that paper plate, put it on the side of your art project. And then I want you to also grab inside this inside bag, you should find a set of paints. You're gonna open up your piece, grab the little black, put it on top of your paper plate, seal your Ziploc bag back up and put it back inside. Okay, and then you're going to seal that Ziploc bag up and you're gonna put that bag back inside your main bag for your art kit. Okay? Okay, at this point, you can unwrap. You don't need the tape anymore. And you're gonna pop the top off. And you're gonna pour some of that black onto the page. You don't need to pour it all, and then you can snap it back on. At this point, you're gonna take one of your pieces of white. And if yours is pretty big like this, what I'm gonna recommend you do is take your scissors and cut it so it's just a little bit smaller, maybe cut it down and make 3 of those sizes. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're going to do some stamping. So you're going to take the very edge of your piece of kind of thicker paper and you're gonna go tap, tap, tap into the paint. Okay, once you've tapped and you've got paint on it, I want you to practice on your paper plate, holding it straight up and down and just tap it. See, that one I pushed too hard. I just want a gentle tap and it should make a pretty straight line. Okay, and then once you've practiced, then you might even change sides if this side's getting a little bit too used. I'm gonna set that aside and use one of my other ones, okay? And now I'm gonna actually do it onto the piece of paper. And we're gonna put more of these lines on to this actual project of yours. So you're gonna follow the straight lines that you made out of your shapes. Thank you for joining me today for this fun art project of the primary colors and lines and shapes. For cleanup, what you need to do is you can go ahead and throw away your paper plate with your glob of paint on it and all your extra pieces. If you'd like to throw away any of the extra shapes you made, you can do that. You will not be needing this little black container of paint anymore, so you can go ahead and throw that away too, and the tape that went with it. And what you will still need is go ahead and put your art project in a safe place to dry. You will still need this brown piece of paper every single time for your art project, so you'll want to fold it up neatly, and you'll want to put it back inside your art kit. So go ahead and put it back inside your art kit for the next time, and make sure and put your scissors and your pencil back wherever you normally keep them. And that is it. Have a great day.